What villain could have won easily, but they ducked it up? Syndrome from The Incredibles was actually a very intelligent villain. He just shouldn't have had a cape. He also got caught monologuing. Dr. Evil Colder just shot Austin Powers like Scott wanted to. Scott, you just don't get it, do you? My summers were typical. In the spring we'd make meat helmets. Bane had broken Batman's back, and Cold easily killed him, but let him live. Also Joker in Batman Arkham City. Batman even said he would have saved him. But the Joker ducked himself. Something that always bothered me was how ducking huge the puddle of cure was on the ground. Just lap it up. Joker. A few shards of broken glass in your tongue is worth staying alive. There's literally so much how could you, and he died. Any villain who does the leaves you be without finishing you off cliche. Come on, really. Finish them off and you'd win. Boom. Done. Over it. In Shudder, Batman and Robin. Mr. Freeze freezes Robin, stay cool. Bird Boy. And as he's about to escape turns to Batman and shouts, your emotions make you weak. That's why this day is mine. I'll kill ya next time. Why not kill him now? Scar. If you're so big and bad, just kill the kid yourself. You already killed his dad, finish the job, dude. He played himself. I guess he didn't want Simba's body found with lion claw marks on it. But it's not like this is CSI Pride Lands. Just kill him and feed the corpse to the hyenas. Edit LOL, everyone repeating that hyenas don't eat lions. Lions don't have choreographed song and dance numbers either. This is Lion King we are talking about. This ain't exactly an accurate depiction of natural behavior. Hyenas would absolutely eat a lion corpse if they found it. Anyone saying otherwise is an idiot. Palpatine literally announced he was back to the entire galaxy like 1 week before his fleet was ready to dominate them all. Why didn't he just wait 1 week? Nobody would have known he was even coming. They could never have stopped him. Or at least had a defensive perimeter. He had thousands of star destroyers with planet-killing super weapons. But he couldn't have at least 10 on patrol. Would have made quick work of the pathetic resistance fleet and done serious damage to the larger vessels of the civilian fleet. But then you can't have them all rise out of the ground all Attack on Titan style. Every villain that decides to describe their plan right before they are about to win. This is why I love the twist of Ozymandias and the Watchmen explaining his grand plan, then revealing that he is not stupid, there's nothing they can do. He set off the explosions 20 minutes before talking about his plan. Ultron really could have taken Vision's body. Twice he attempted the download and got over 50-60% in pretty quick time. There was no real need to disconnect himself just because the Avengers were in the area. Lock the door and finish it off. Without Vision they had no chance of winning. I still think Ultron is alive because it ducking Ultron. So this is actually part of his M.O. Store self in hard drive, make new body, sometimes time travel, take over the world, and get beaten by the Avengers. Mr. Burns shouldn't have gone for the candy. Maggie made sure he wouldn't try that shit again. Osmond Sadler from Resident Evil 4. His plan went like this. Step 1, kidnap the daughter of the President of the United States. Step 2, infect her with a zombifying parasite. Step 3, wait until military rescue team arrives. Step 4, let them rescue Ashley, the aforementioned daughter of the President. Step 5, let parasitic outbreak destroy United States. Step 6, conquer United States of America. How Osmond derailed it altogether. Not only did he do the classic blunder of telling Leon Kennedy what he was planning to do, James Bond style, but he then proceeded to prevent them from escaping. On top of that, he needlessly put Ashley in danger of being killed by his mooks, and tried to kill the rescue team he needed alive to execute his plan. The kicker, supposedly, he wants to juice some ransom money out of the president. However, if he hadn't gone and ducked his own plan up, he would have gotten free access to the entire United States Treasury. I love RE4, but every bit of this is right and infuriating. Except for the ransom part. That's why Ian was there in the first place. The ransom request doubly ducked him over, because if he had just stuck with the plan, he would have had access to the treasury anyway, because the entire country would be under his control. The Decepticons. So often their plans were quite good, but were thwarted by plot armor and deus ex machina. At any time, retreating most of their plans would likely have resulted in their winning. It's because of Wesker's intense hatred of Chris that he spends so much time mocking and toying with him in Resident Evil 5. If it were anyone else, he'd probably have killed them without much fanfare and gone on to enact his plan unchallenged. Every video game villain. Just keep that first key in your pocket instead of leaving it somewhere the hero can find it. Wait, when you go on vacation you don't create elaborate mazes and puzzles and hide your keys in various chests at the end of them. Really the hardest part is finding someone willing to sleep or hide all day just waiting to make a dramatic entrance when some thieves show up. Firelord challenged the Avatar to a 1v1 and was surprised when he got folded like an omelette. To be fair, he was winning for a little bit, but On was saved by the Avatar state. Is it really a 1v1 when you call upon your past lives to win? Well, to be fair, On wasn't able to until he hit the plot rock where the lightning scar was and reformed the connection. I am losing it at plot rock, laughing my butt off. Isma could have just killed Cusco while he was unconscious in the palace. You mean, if they had the poison for Cusco? Soren. This is nothing against LOTR. This is an intentional character flaw, but the Methodica couldn't even comprehend that someone might want to destroy the ring instead of use it. He was so sure that someone would try to weaponize the ring that Aragorn had, only to show his face and Soren goes, he must have the ring. It's not until the very moment that the ring hits lava that he finally realizes how bad he ducked up. And he gets 30 seconds to think about how the last 1000 years have all been an excruciating waste of time. Actually, since Soren doesn't die, but is instead reduced to a powerless immortal shade, he has all of time to contemplate it. Voldemort. He decided to hide his Horcruxes on places that had significance to him. All he had to do was hide it at the bottom of the ocean, or bury it in some random forest, or put it in a volcano or something. If he did that, well then Harry and co would have had a tough time destroying them. Dude could have just exercised and eaten, right, if he wanted to live longer. Shaking my head. I think one of the ironies with Voldemort is the fact that wizards can live over 100 years and he died in his 60s. He could have had another 40 years had he just lived a normal life. Viggo Tarasov, the Russian from John Wick, literally had him tied up dead to rights. One bullet to the brain welder ended the franchise at the first movie. Before that, just hand over his son. He knew what John could and would do, and after the lawyer's entire crew got wiped out, he knew it was going to be a lost cause. Hand over his son and the two friends stooges, and save his own neck and business. EI type bad. Count Dooku. He literally just watched as his master told Anakin to kill him, and didn't say anything. There were several long pauses. Hey Anakin, I know we've had our differences, but he's my master. Yeah, that's Sidious. Scar. If he'd actually snuffed out Simba, things would have gone his way. Dick Dastardly. In every episode of Wacky Races, he always managed to get out miles in front of all the other cars in order to lay his dastardly traps, but for some reason, he'd rather sit around and wait for everyone else to catch up in order to win by cheating, rather than just winning every single race as he would have done otherwise. He does this deliberately. The one time Link he won legitimately, the judges used a tape replay that was obviously doctored to make it look like he was cheating with an extendo nose, which should be just as legal as the creepy Coop using the dragon or Professor Patent Pending using his flying ability. To add insult to injury, Peter Perfect pulled the same stunt in another episode and was credited with the win, as did Rufus Roughcut by literally sticking his neck out to win by a neck. The judges are clearly biased against Dick Dastardly, and as such he gave up on winning and now just uses his superior speed to troll the other racers mercilessly. Any one of the Bond villains, if they only limited their exposition to 30 seconds or less, it would have worked. Plankton in almost every ducking episode. I think he should just buy a burger dissect, or to see how to make the formula he has a supercomputer for a wife. I'm pretty sure he's tried to buy a burger several times. but there are standing orders to not sell any to him or anyone working for him. Light Yagami, if he just laid low, didn't sneak onto his dad's computer, and watched more international news, narrowing it down to him would taken much longer. Ducking Hans from Frozen, he would have ducking one if he didn't bring Elsa back, and he didn't leave Anna in a room to die. Looking back, this entire movie was kinda strange. It was heavily rewritten late in production, which is why the plotting is so off kilter, and Hans' betrayal seems to come out of nowhere with very little foreshadowing. On the other hand, I kind of like that about it. Frozen was one of the only Disney movies I've ever seen where, midway through the movie, I had no idea where the plot was headed. It wasn't even clear whether Elsa was good or evil. There was a kind of brilliance in giving her a song that sounds like a villain song, but isn't. Green Goblin from Spider-Verse. You just had to shove him into the collider. Why? Bowser and his Gotham Bridge. After falling in the lava enough times, you'd imagine he would think to move the axe into a different room. Not necessarily a villain, but a Baron Martellin got. This ducking guy had the mountain beat, and emotions got the best of him. I remember watching him get his face smashed in, and saying to myself, what the duck man? Duck. I was so shocked seeing that scene. I liked the Baron as a character as he was one with purpose and skill. After getting his face smashed, I was like, now who the duck's gonna kill the mountain? Also, thinking back, no one really had the mountain's balls in their hand as much as a Baron did. Ganondorf in Wind Waker. He could have won if he hadn't ducked around instead of touching the Triforce. John Wick, when he was captured, they cold just shot him instead of deciding to suffocate him by putting a plastic bag over his head. Don't get me wrong, John Wick is a force of nature, but he wouldn't have gotten away if they didn't waste time. Ganon, you literally know exactly where that little shit Link lives. Why not kill him when he walking around Fisher-Price wooden sword? Nope. Let's wait until he has the Master Sword, Magic Boomerang, Bow and Arrow, Big Ass Shield, Magic Candle, a Raft, a Ladder, a Power Bracelet, Blue and Red Rings, and some ducking magic wands. It's just bad strategy. Dio from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Stardust Crusaders. He literally had the chance to kill every single Crusaders when they first enter his mansion, but he decided to be overly cocky about his stand power. Every single villain that chose to let the hero live or left the dirty work to their goons. Thanos. I mean, why waste time? Just duck and kill them all. True, but it becomes more complicated if you bring Infinity War Thanos into the picture, because he actually won. Whereas Endgame Thanos was a despot who misconstrued his other self's message into a typical villainous daydream. Thanos feels more like a well-intentioned extremist, as TV Tropes calls it, who had no intention of harming the Avengers if they just stepped aside. Dr. Doofenshmirtz from Phineas and Ferb. Why does he keep putting self-destruct buttons on his machines? To be fair, he does quit if Perry don't show up. I think he just wants attention. Isn't there an episode where he actually procrastinates setting the machine off because he's waiting for Perry? Poor guy just wanted friends. Yes, and they are frenemies. Ultron. Just put a virus on the internet, bro. Darth Maul. He literally stood there and watched Obi-Wan jump over him, cut him in half. Obi-Wan wasn't that fast. It was cheese to me. Nobody has said Walter White yet. There are so many moments where he screwed up out of sheer panic, but we can all pinpoint the one exact moment where he went Fuba. If he just had the foresight to throw that ducking book away, his family would be fine, living with millions to their name, and he would have passed peacefully from cancer. Voldemort. He killed Harry twice and everyone else was too scared to do anything besides Neville. Frieza Cold won his battle with Goku. Pretty much all of them. There's almost always some seemingly avoidable mistake they make so that they can lose. The Jedi Order. Anakin should been a master. The Clone Wars portrays that a lot better than the movies. Mace Windu should contacted Yoda and the rest of the council instead of rushing in to arrest Palpatine. His actions resulted in the death of both himself and the other 3 masters, gave Anakin the ultimatum that switched him to the dark side, and resulted in the execution of Order 66. Jose. Bro was literally on the verge of winning a 100-year struggle with his cheat code powered up fascist regime, and blew it because he wanted to gloat about how weak the 12-year-old manifestation of the planet's spirit was. What a schmuck. Killmonger just had to actually kill Chala, and he was in the absolute clear. Wilson Fisk. Thanos literally can do anything with the stones. Chooses not to wipe out all of the Avengers. Big purple dumbus.